overall here at the Congress, there were almost 4,000 people, and the community, the cardiovascular community, it's here, is very, very diverse. It involves, of course, cardiologists, but also foundations, nurses, people who work in the circulatory health environment, so an enormously diverse community. And what we would like to talk about is the Meet and Share Forum that took place over 3 days. And also what we would like to talk about is what happened when Magdalena came to tell us how to tell stories. Would you like to add something?
Sure, and I think it's important to note that this was the first time that we ever did the Meet and Share Forum amongst a group of non-traditional public health people, as you might say. Most of the people who are attending the Congress are clinically trained, they're physicians, we're nurses, and they have a medical background. But what we wanted to do was kind of bridge the gap between those in the medical field and those doing public health or those in civil society, and kind of figure out how they could get together and exchange ideas, network, meet each other, make friends, and kind of act as a space where people can come and just be together, which has never been done before. So I think that was a great first start. I think we had great success in our first year, and thanks to Magdalena, because she brought in this element of storytelling, which I think is not often used in the medical world, or even public health for that matter. A lot of people are with a science background where they think very linearly or very clinically, and so adding the human element to it and adding the power of emotion into it was extremely, extremely effective. We had people that were brought to tears in our last session, in the storytelling session with Magdalena, and it was just proof that it was, it's applicable to everyone. It doesn't matter what background you come from, what country you come from, what language you speak. The power of a story can impact anyone.
Super experience in advocacy, especially in tobacco advocacy, but now in a broader perspective. And there are so many tools you use as an advocate. Why storytelling? Why did you bring this topic to the table and wanted people to familiarize with storytelling?
Well, let me tell you a story. One of the things I've learned is actually advocacy is such a broad term. It's like a suitcase of a term that after your session, I realized that term probably needs to be changed. And so now I'm going to call myself a change agent, and I'm in the business of change. So I am in the business of change, and that's what advocacy is. And I think that tells a story in itself that I've learned at the Meet and Share, and thanks to you. Another thing that I have learned, which you explained so beautifully, Magda, you were an absolute star during your presentation. You were like a goddess of how presentations should be made, and it stuck with me. And one of the things was, we have an attention span which is shorter than a goldfish, and that is basically 12 seconds, number one. And another thing is that it is emotion that drives change. It is not numbers. Of course, you need to have the numbers to be able to show if it is what is being asked afterwards. But one of the reasons, if you meet a policymaker, someone in a mission in Geneva, or a health ministry, or even a finance ministry, is to establish that relationship the first time you meet that person. And for this, if you just download them with numbers, you're going to bore them to death. And you're not going to make them understand what it is that is driving what is important. And what is important? Well, we are in a business of change to ensure that everyone can have a better life because of the heart disease, which is the number one killer in the world. 1.7 billion people have hypertension. See, I've said a number, 1.7 people have hypertension, and so what? we can do things about it, we can change. There are many, many things that could be done, and it is by telling the stories of how we can work together that the change will happen.
Anna, how do you feel? The final day, the Congress and the Meet and Share Forum was obviously a big success. People are fulfilled, uplifted, empowered. How do you feel about
I
that
actually
event?
didn't know what to expect. Obviously, this is my first Congress and Florence's first Congress as well. I didn't, I'm not as familiar with this kind of audience. Both of us coming from a public health background and a tobacco control background, so I didn't know what to expect and who was going to show up, or if anybody was going to show up for that matter. So we were pleasantly surprised that people came and engaged and were there. Most of the people that were engaged were there the entire time, which was very important, I think, for them to kind of see and experience everything from start to finish. And those were the ones who got the most out of it, I think. For me, the thing I'll take away is the fact that so many people came up to me and were like, thank you so much for having this. This was really great and we needed this and we want to do more of this and this never existed before. Thank you for creating a space for us to just be together and engage with each other. So the fact that we got that feedback right away and it was so positive and people were very emotional and very thankful to us for even putting it on I think that's a great sign, and we will continue to work on it, adapt it, edit it as needed, and move forward and make it better, and hopefully we can reach even more people next time. So I feel like it was a great first start and there's more to be done as always.
If I can just add just one or two more sentences, I think everyone is a storyteller. And there were many people in the Meet and Share Forum who actually were cardiologists and are doctors and were telling their stories and are working in their communities with their patients to improve. And so there is a tendency to believe that there is a sort of a break between, on the one hand, the medical doctors and on the other, the foundations. But actually, in many of the people who were there, it was actually the doctors who were talking. And you gave them the tool to transform possibly, the data, whatever they had to say in telling a story, and that is very important. So we hope to ensure that next year there is a bridge between the foundation and the medical societies so that everyone can tell their stories and touch the world with CVD problems.
I will be honored to be a part of that construction team and help you to build a bridge between the worlds, because I see that there's such a big need to start talking more about these health issues among business people and backwards, bring business more engaged in helping to solve the world's problem. Okay, see you during the next conference.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're amazing.
Bye.